I am the oracle Apollo. Come share your light with me. These messages I follow, restoring balance unto thee. Do not be afraid, you're part of saving grace. Do not hesitate, let's reignite your faith. Divine encounters are all alive. Divine encounters, our lives design. I am the oracle Apollo.
Thank you for joining me, your Aquarius water-bearing hostess, Dominique Rivera, and you are watching Divine Encounters. Yay! Thank you for being here with me, the Oracle of Apollo. But first, before we get into anything else, to your health, wealth, and prosperity. Can you say prosperidad? Cheers! Making sure you have your high-quality H2O while you're watching this episode, because this is not a passive viewing experience, but a thought-provoking, mind-opening, possibly earth-shattering one. So ensure that you're prepared for the shift and that you bring your water to the feed. If this is your first time, hello. Make sure you like and subscribe, as well as turn on the little bell, because if you turn on the bell, you will get notified every time that I'm live streaming. And I am on Wednesday and Sunday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And of course, if you want to grow and let go with me as well, I have plenty of free events here on my meetup group, meetup.com/Awaken Philadelphia. And you can participate in healings and meditations through this group and know where I will be. This is essentially my calendar of all the events that I'm doing, all in one easy place. Sharing this message with a friend or commenting a friend's name below automatically puts you in to win a personal angel reading from me to you. So make sure that you guys are sharing this, because you're not just sharing the blessing, but you're sharing a message, you're sharing hope, and you might also win something. Incentive. Hello. Yes. Hello, Mara. Mara's in the house. Thank you for being here. And thank you all for being here today, too. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring on my guest for the evening, which we're going to be talking about divinity through music and art.
I just want to say, now I speak, right? I apologize. I was waiting for the... Okay, first time on a podcast, so guys, give me a break. So my name is Yuri Levin, as the Oracle has announced on Facebook and other platforms about me being a guest here. In my, private passions, I really do love philosophy, and I love literature, and I do love the way in which the divine intersects with art. And particularly, I'm interested in it from a idiosyncratic perspective. I assume a lot of people have their own interpretation of what art means to them.
Before you continue, when there's a rule I've learned from being a expert on the show Bathrobe Moments, and Lauren Michaels Harris says, if the word has over 6 letters, we need to break it down. So please let everyone know what that means, idiosyncratic.
So that just means like a personal interpretation based on my own personal, you can call it academic training, personal experiences. All that helps to make up how I interpret art. So that's just what I mean by idiosyncratic.
Okay. We're so happy to have you here. Your first time and everything. And it was interesting how this all happened, because I didn't have a guest for this week, and usually I book 4 people a month, like at the same time. And I was like, you know what? I didn't even care. I was just like, I went, I hung out, I did my recreational, and there we were having this amazing conversation. And I was like, Yuri has to come on the show and talk about these things and your perspective. So I'm honored to have you here and to share your views with everyone today. It's going to be a little different, a little wonderful. And Yuri, I like to start off every episode with the good news. So that I say, what's good?
Breathing.
Okay, so we're here now with the good news. Yuri, you are in the green room now, so you'll be back in just a moment. And the message for today here with this card is empathic star seed is the message for the collective. Energetic sovereignty, absorbing what's not yours. Empathic star seeds are here to shift the world through their physical presence alone. They don't need to do anything beyond just being here. Thanks to the energetic change their physical presence causes. Due to their highly sensitive nature, empathic starseeds can struggle with being on Earth and in a physical body. Many prone to addiction and depression or tend to mistake other people's feelings and moods for their own. They tend to prefer spending time alone or in small groups. Crowds can be overwhelming for them. When this card appears, consider lightening the load energetically. Don't put yourself under such pressure to go out into the world, but be gentle with yourself. Allow extra time and care to recover energetically. And if you're feeling pressured to keep up a certain pace, instead, put on the brakes and treat yourself like a precious baby. Do whatever you can to take the pressure of the world off of your plate. Switch off to switch back on. In today's world, it's normal to feel that we should be doing more, but perhaps being present in our life is enough. This could be a phase that you're going through, or simply how you're being called to live life. If your work involves giving to others, right now you're being called to keep something for yourself. You don't need to transmute it all. It's okay to look after your own growth and healing before feeling you should offer it to the world. Indeed, it's necessary if you want to continue to do so sustainably. Wow, let's bring Yuri back on here. So this is a powerful message, Yuri. Very interesting. As we're opening, or as I'm stating what we were doing together, having this wonderful conversation this weekend, and that was because I was shutting off this weekend. So I feel like this is very in alignment with coming back today and being prepared after a nice long 4th of July weekend and taking some reprieve. So what do you take away from this message? Hold on, Yuri, you're muted.
Oh, I'm sorry.
There we are.
So you were hitting the nail on the head there, Oracle, that, I think the spontaneity of us meeting on, we met before, but having, engaging in a conversation without any planning, it was very spontaneous. And it helped to bring this about. And I think that finding small miracles in life, and always being blessed with the fact that, you could find new opportunities in very, sometimes places you least expect. I think that's what makes the world very interesting and unique. And I think that it helps bring about changes in the way we think, the way we understand ourselves and the world around us.
Beautiful. And it's funny because it's like the opportunities only occur if you arrive.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. It can only bring you so far. A lot of it also has to do with you actually taking risks. Right. A lot of people don't like to take risks because, they're afraid of looking foolish. But the greatest changes in the world have happened through risk taking and people, initially looking foolish.
Absolutely. And just to point out for everybody at home, make sure you're claiming this blessing in the comment section below. Angel Gabriel blessing the collective with synchronicity. So I have a question for you and for you all at home. And this is the awareness question of the day. How can you better take care of yourself energetically? And this is for you, Yuri, and everyone at home. You can comment how you would take care of yourself energetically in the comment section.
So for me, I think personally, taking care of your physical body is definitely very important. Having the proper diet, nutrition, but also taking care of the soul. your body doesn't really function without it. I feel as if, if you don't have a good grasp of how our whole bodies are essentially holistically connected, all the diets and nutritions and all the exercises will lead to, destabilization of the body, the physical body. So I think that having that kind of connection with the body and the mind and the soul, I think it's very, very important to stay, keep yourself, energized. And I think that also includes, thinking about things like art and even experiencing art and the divine, because that helps the soul, and it fundamentally also helps the body.
Thank you. Miss Erica says, I actually got a massage this weekend and it helped me process things psychologically. I feel like I need to do this at least 1 time a month. Yeah, it sounds like it's very grounding and it's assisting the energy flow move through the body, right? So let's jump into a divine experience here before we get into your story, Yuri. And just real quick, I think I want to chime in on this question. And for myself, it was more like being aware of where the leaks are at. So if the leaks are and maybe you have friends who are not good friends, then that's where you can put a barrier up and contain the leak. Or if you feel like you're using something as a crutch, like TV or food, allowing yourself to take your willpower back. So that's saying, I'm not going to just jump in from a whim because I crave this thing right now. I'm not going to allow myself to fall back into those old habits, is a way of you combating that and keeping yourself energized by maintaining your energy all together. Miss Rochelle Hall says, giving my body rest, drinking water, being aware, and being playful. Yes, absolutely facts. And Miss Erica says that she claims tonight's blessing. Let me claim that for you guys there with the bell. All right, so we're going to jump into the divine experience. And for those of you at home, if this is your first time watching, thank you for being here, first off and foremost. This is Sacred Space for All. But we're going to ask you right now to assess yourself honestly. From 1 to 10, where are you at energetically in this moment? 1 being this is the least amount of energy my body can harbor, and I'm super tired, super lethargic, angry, cranky, etc., etc. Or 10, this is my crystalline body. This is my highest state of being. I'm super energized. So just take a notice and then put your answer in the comment section below now. Okay, Yuri, where are you at energetically in this moment?
Oh, that's a great question. Well, I just ate dinner, came back from work around 6 o'clock. So my energy is not as great as it would be like in the morning. I feel my energy levels are the highest in the morning, particularly after I work out. I like to work out in the morning because I feel it gives me energy throughout the day. So after eating, I did get replenished my energy. So I probably put around a 6 or a 7.
All right, so we're at a 6 or a 7.
Yeah.
And I'm like an 8 because I'm still tired. So I'm a little tired today, so I'm at an 8. I've already been working all day, still continue to work through the night, and that's fine. And we have, go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's important to know when to be awake and when to be tired. I think that's
yes.
Important,
Yes, don't burn the candle on both ends.
Yes, exactly.
Hola, Stacy, she's at a 4. Rochelle Hall's at a 5. And Miss Erica is at a 6. Lori, I'm bringing you on camera, girl, so you can tell us what you're feeling. Hey, winner, chicken dinner.
Hi there. How are you guys?
Thank you for being here. You are today's winner, obviously. And thank you for sharing. Lori has won a personal reading today in Divine Encounters because she shared last week. And that's all you have to do to be able to participate. Where are you at energetically from 1 to 10 right now?
Well, I want to be at a 10, but I was away this weekend and my energy was a 10. I got home and it went down to a 2. So right now, probably about a 4.
All right, so we're at a 4. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to call in the team, and I'm just going to mute you guys for a second. We're going to call in the team. We're going to do some breathing as a collective. So if this is your first time watching, just place your hands palms upward on your lap and make sure you're sitting nice and straight and just have an intention or goal setting. Otherwise, just follow the sound of my voice. 60 seconds on the clock. Eyes are closed now. And just invite beautiful resurgence into your body. Visualize electricity dancing on water. And as that electricity is dancing on water, it starts to enter into its current. And it starts to follow the pattern or the current that you're creating with your breath. And just breathe that in through your nose, into your energetic system, down into your muscles, your tendons, your bones, your blood and your organs, your central nervous system, throughout your entire cellular body. And your exhale is the permission to release what no longer serves you. It doesn't need a story or a label. Just thank it for being here, no longer needed, and exhale. Bringing that right and left palm together to touch in front of your heart space, and I bow to you all. Namaste. Okay, we're going to bring Yuri's mic on and Lori's mic on. And now just taking notice of where you guys are at home. If you felt or saw or experienced anything, put that in the comment section below. And then let me know what number you are now after you've shifted. I feel like I'm still climbing, but I feel like I'm at a 9.6 now. Although I feel like there's a fogginess leaving my body. It's the best way I could describe it. So that's what I have for that. What do you have for that, Yuri?
I definitely felt calmer. Being on the first time on a podcast, a little nerve wracking. But I think that the breathing exercise definitely helps you to concentrate your breath, and it helps concentrate your emotional state. So definitely feel more calm. Good.
And it's all right to be nerve wracking. You wouldn't be the first person to say that. How about you, Miss Lori?
I've gotten up to a 7.
So you shifted as well?
And I'm trying to do this on my phone because my computer was not cooperating.
No worries. Well, I'm glad you shifted to a 7. Make sure that we're drinking water now. That's part of the divine experience. And when I invite you to have water at the beginning of the show. Okay, Miss Lori, we're going to call you back for the game in a little while, so we'll see you. Okay, Yuri. So you're on here because you have experienced the divine through art and music, and you have a supernatural story time to tell us.
Yeah.
And I would love to know your thoughts on this, how you experienced this, and what it looks like to you. So I'm going to just let you have the whole floor.
Well, I think, like I mentioned previously, I think it comes from a very personal background that I have with reading literature and particularly philosophy, more specifically 18th to 20th century German philosophy. And through my readings, I came to posit a very interesting way of looking at art, and that has conditioned the way I experience art the rest of my life. So to me, I think art represents the instantiation of the divine in the material world. Now, when I speak of art, I don't just necessarily describing like music, but I also include sculpture, I include painting, poetry, and something else to think about is just how art also plays in things that we don't necessarily think as art. So, for example, disciplines like mathematics, science, how we like to say that, something is not scientific, it's art. But I think that there is a lot of interplay in art in the sciences as well, and indeed in the majority of human experiences and human forms of life. So the way I experience the divine in art is I think the first way I experience it is that it instantiates the divine in our everyday familiar world. Broadly speaking, the way I define the divine is something that which transcends our familiar world. It's sometimes we like to use words like infinite or boundless, and I feel as if that is the way I experience the divine in art. So our familiar world, whether we're talking about our everyday experiences with objects or people or even institutions, I think art can instantiate this divinity, this boundlessness and infiniteness into our everyday world. And it does this, it unifies this familiar world with the divine, and it reveals objects, whether we're talking about painting or we're talking about other forms of artistic expression. It reveals these objects as both having a familiar experience, but also something uncanny, something strange, something we can't fully grasp. And
Would
this
this
is
be
why,
like a symbol? Would symbols fall under this category?
yeah, absolutely. So it could also be in books that you're reading, or it could be in something like letters, numbers, things that, for example, you're unable to fully interpret in that particular art object. So, and this is one of the reasons when the divine is instantiated into this our everyday world. It's the reason why art, I think, is fundamentally irreducible. You can't be there's no privileged interpretation of any particular art object. We can't look at, for example, a Picasso painting and say that, well, this painting just means, Picasso was thinking about this, or that Picasso was doing a lot of mushrooms when he was painting the pictures. We can't reduce one interpretation when it comes to art. Art is, because it's this boundlessness, it kind of opens up to possibly infinite amount of interpretations, and not one being able to close the artwork in any particular interpretation. So art opens itself up to interpretation, but also it resists interpretation. There's, as I mentioned, a surplus or an excess that escapes all interpretation. So when we look at a painting or we hear music, or even looking at a sculpture or reading a book, we have these preconceived notions that we're familiar with and how we interpret the work of art. But at the same time, there's always some excess that escapes us. And this is what I consider the divine. This is what I consider the infinite. So
When you say excess, what does that mean?
So there is some surplus, something extra, which we always think we have an interpretation of a movie we saw, but there's always parts of the movie which isn't fully captured in that interpretation. There's always something which we miss, or something which we are unable to fit, like
Because it's coming from our own individualized perspective.
exactly
So
right. Yeah.
we're assimilating it from everything that we know, and
Yeah.
because everyone's experience is unique.
Yeah.
I feel like you're saying that there's a truth that is never really seen.
Yeah. Exactly. And that's what I consider as the divine. The divine is something which is infinite, which can't be reduced to any particular personal interpretation. It always kind of goes beyond. And that's what makes art so, interesting and fascinating, I think, is that, it opens itself up to infinite possible interpretations of what something means. And I think this is where kind of the strangeness of art, how it intersects with the familiar, expresses itself in the artwork and the divine as well.
So you're feeling like art is divine because of its continuous nature.
Yeah.
It doesn't have a true explanation. It just,
Yeah.
for the sake of, dumbing this down, or even layman's, it's like, it just is. It
Yeah.
is what it is, and that is all that it is.
Yeah, I think what it does is that it instantiates or brings in time into the art object, in the sense that the art object is constantly changing what it means to different people, to different cultures, and it's not restricted to any particular social, cultural background of meaning which interprets that artwork. It's always there's always something which it's unable to interpret, And so it continues throughout time. And that's one of the beauties of, that's the way I consider the divine. It's something which, is boundless. It's not something which can be interpreted in any particular frame of reference.
So this is interesting because everything you're mentioning to me feels very analytical, logical. And so if the divine also plays an emotional role,
Yeah.
where does that find itself in art?
Well, I think that there is a part of human nature which is itself boundless, how we define ourselves and how we understand our own emotions. I think our emotions are part of what helps to bring the divinity into art and how we interpret it. For example, our emotions are, well, first of all, our emotions are not always stable. Our emotions, are constantly fluctuating. And, our emotions do a job at interpreting. I mean, when I'm depressed, for example, I look at an artwork far different than if I'm like really, really happy or excited, or, I'm, going through some kind of emotional trauma. I experience the artwork far differently. And so I think even in our emotions, we have this excess, which is itself divine, because we are also divine as well. We are intersections between our cultural, social categories, but also the social, cultural categories, which are never fully able to define us, and we're always kind of escaping it.
It's interesting because it's almost like for those of you energy workers at home, you might understand this a little more clearer, but it's as if, and you all know this, the ones that are working on this, it's as if you could have something and the medicine doesn't reveal itself until it is in alignment with something else. So like that same piece of artwork that's been hanging on your wall one day could suddenly just unfold or blossom for you, and then suddenly everything feels like it's clear and it's coming together, and there's a new understanding and takeaway from this.
Oracle, I think that's exactly right. And I think that we must keep in mind that within always light, there's always the shadow which never endingly escapes our attempt to capture it in the light. But without it, there would be no light. Light and the shadow are so intertwined. And knowledge is the same way. Knowledge is part of what conditions knowledge, is also the unknowable, is the things that we take as assumptions, as beliefs, without having, necessarily rationale for why we believe them. I mean, a lot of our waking life is based on beliefs and feelings that we might not even always be aware of, but they condition the way we interpret and we live in the world. So I think that definitely it's the shadow and the light. I think we were actually communicating with that when we were talking, that how important it is to keep a kind of understanding that there is the unknowable and being okay with it. Being okay
is a respect process.
Yeah, because of divinity, because in our modern technological, ever increasing world of trying to dominate nature and technology, and trying to dominate it intellectually and through machines, I think that what we're missing in our society is a distance and a reverence towards that which we cannot control.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. And Stacy, thank you. She says, knowledge is endless, such as time. I tell my sons that these are the only things that are endless. And thank you for the compliment. I had 5 days off where I did nothing, and I hung out with Yuri on one of those days. So this is why I look like I'm glowing. That it helped. The break helped.
It was raining a little bit one time, but that's okay. I made the most of it. I still went in the pool, so
it is the rain brings cleansing as well.
Absolutely.
So thank you, Stacy. We're going to jump into a word from our sponsor, and also a message for me. I'm having a class in August. If you want to work on developing your intuition more clearly, hear the angels, see the angels, feel them, experience them. This class is all about experiencing that, and then working with the angels to work through your own private things. So here we go. We're going to go ahead from a word from our sponsor, and we'll be right back. Thank you for joining me. You're watching Divine Encounters. I'm your hostess, Dominique Rivera, the Oracle of Apollo. Shout out to our sponsor, Intention Pen. Make sure that if you would like your own intention pen, which is an amazing tool for intention setting, literally designed by a Reiki master with your intentions within it. This one boasts a 24 karat gold plated body as well with gunmetal fittings. And this one is a product wood. This one is called this one you can get on intentionpen.com, and it is the code Oracle7. And make sure you go there now and get your intention pen from intentionpen.com. Holler at the sponsors. All right, let's bring Yuri back on here. He's sharing all about his supernatural story time. We're talking about art today, and we're so happy to have him here. So, Yuri, thank you again for being here, and we're back with you. So, my question to you is, when has there been a moment where you walked up to a piece of art or heard a piece of music that has moved you or shifted you so beyond the scope of understanding that you're recognizing the divinity within that moment?
Yeah, I think it happens in music for me more than it does in other forms of art, just because music is you have less time to really think exactly of a complete interpretation of what a piece of music means, as opposed to when you're looking at a painting, for example, you have time to contemplate it and you have time to kind of form a narrative of interpreting the painting. Whereas music, it's far more, the pace is just so different that it doesn't give you that kind of time to give you a ability to actually interpret in a full sense what a song means. And I think that for me, when I'm listening to music, like music that I start thinking about things like, my state of mind moves from one thought to another, and it's without any kind of, there is some semblance of a connection, but at the end of the day, it's very haphazard. It's very kind of pieced together, and there's no unified narrative when I'm listening to a piece of music, particularly music which doesn't have words. Or lyrics, rather, music which is much more ambient. I feel as if I get a little bit more of the divine. And there is an old tradition in different religions and different mythologies where the universe was literally birthed through through a chanting, almost like a chanting of a monk, a Buddhist monk or a Hindu monk. And I think that is the feeling of the divine that I get, particularly through music. And
so it sounds like a vibrational frequency from the intonation of the sound.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
You. So what would you, because we're here at the tail end of the story time, what would you recommend, or what kinds of music would you recommend to people who are looking to shift?
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's great, because I'm a person who loves every kind of music, and it really depends on my emotions and what I'm doing. Like if I'm working out in the gym, I'm listening to something very heavy, very aggressive. But then, when I'm like trying to contemplate, or when I'm reading, I like to listen to more ambient music. If I'm reading like a piece of classical literature, I'll listen to the pieces from that time period, so I can kind of embody myself more into that book that I'm reading. So I would really recommend things that are much more diverse in terms of how you're feeling, what your emotional state is, what it is that you're doing. I feel that for me, for example, when I'm trying to meditate or I'm trying to get a more clear understanding of things that I'm thinking about or reading, sometimes I would listen to just pure ambient music, classical music, Chopin, Mozart, or the classics, obviously. But those kind of things. I even sometimes listen to old Indian chants online. You can definitely listen to that, and be able to contemplate, and it really makes you contemplate better.
Well, thank you so much, Yuri, for being here and for sharing all of these ideas and thoughts with us today here on Divine Encounters. And we're going to be jumping in now for those of you at home to the Apollo game. So, Yuri, are you ready to test your intuition with us today?
I'm super ready. Hopefully my intuition is strong.
Okay, if not, there's somebody that's going to just yank you out of frame in like the next 10 seconds with one of those canes, those old-timey canes. Just drag you off stage.
Exactly. Curtains come down.
Yeah, that's it. All right, Lori, we're going to be testing your intuition too. So the idea behind this is a multiple choice question, and you just have to guess or predict which is the right answer. That's pretty much all it is. So here is the question.
What am I about to reveal? Creepy psychiatric ward, burnt down church, abandoned school, haunted mansion. Put your comment in the comment section below now.
All right, so the question was, what am I about to reveal? And it was creepy. I forget what it was. And those letters are so small. Hold on, we got to look at it again because y'all know my memory.
What am I about to reveal? Creepy psychiatric ward.
Burned down church is the second one. Abandoned school. And there was a fourth one in there. Haunted mansion. Okay, you guys know the drill. Put your comments in the comment section below now. Okay, Yuri, what is the right answer?
Oh, So I think it's the abandoned school.
Okay, we're going with school. And Lori?
I was going to say the abandoned school also.
Okay, Lori and Yuri both say school. Let's see what you all say at home. Erica says that Ariella says school, but Erica says church. Okay, and if you guys win, you'll get from me, the Oracle of Apollo, a social distancing high five. I know it's amazing. Be prepared for it. I want to give it to you guys.
When you see each other next, it has to be a real high five, though.
Okay, it has to be a real high five if you get it right. If you get it right. If not, I'm repoing a high five from you, so you'll be giving me a high five. So how about that? Okay, That's the only way I'm committing to this right now. So
Okay,
here
I'll do
is the answer.
What am I about to reveal? Creepy psychiatric ward. Burnt down church. Abandoned school. Haunted mansion. Put your comment in the comment section below now. Reveal time. Did you say a burnt down church?
And you just had to love the sirens in the background. Welcome to Philly.
I should have known because you're from Philly. I should have known it's like something burnt down.
Oh, it was arson. That church
It was
was
arson,
burned down. It wasn't even an accident. It was burned down. So if you're watching this on the replay, you got to write high five, of course. And I believe Miss Erica definitely got it right today. So super high five for Miss Erica. Good job, Erica. I don't know if you got that from your prediction or if you also said, no, she's from Philly. It's definitely a burned down church. I'm not sure. All right, so we're going to be jumping in here to the midweek collective energy check-in. So I'm going to put you, Yuri, and Lori in the green room, and I'll see you momentarily, my dears. Thank you for playing. Remember, there's no losers here in Divine Encounters, just an opportunity to fine-tune and refine your gifts and abilities even more. And if you want to jump even deeper and refine them even more deeper, please come to my class August 14th. It will be a wonderful, wonderful time and a enjoyable experience. Okay, so let's go into the midweek collective energy check-in forecast. And if you're listening to this message, this is when you need to hear it.
There is a button. It's a very sexy button. It says subscribe on it. I wish I could click on it, but YouTube won't let me.
Okay, ladies and gents, lords and ladies, this is what you need to know, how you can grow, and what you need to let go of in the midweek collective energy check-in forecast. So what do we need to know as a collective? I love this, starting out with the sun card, starting out nice and hot. Nice and hot. You got it? Because it's a sun. Hot. Okay. Anyways, so this is the card that represents in all of tarot, basically illuminating all things. All shadows are gone. So this is a time of happiness and clarity, fulfillment. This is when paths are being paved and created, and there's no longer fear to hold you back with the moon energy, but more like the energy of action, fortuitiveness, confidence, and strength. When we think of the sun, it really makes me think of the sign Leo, which is the personification of the energy of the sun. And so when I see that, I think of a very confident, kingly, queenly energy with this sun. It representing the energy of freedom, meaning that you're not trapped as much as you think you may be. You may realize that there are situations or outlets or things even existing around you in this current moment. Maybe you've overlooked them. Maybe you haven't connected with them. But something that once was obscure or didn't have its full depth of meaning is being illuminated here for you. And this is what we need to know as a collective at this moment. How we can grow. The recommendation here for the growth card is being of service. When we are of service, we go out of ourselves and recognize the overwhelming nature of love, because being in service is giving of our love and of our energy to others for them to receive that and then reciprocate that too in their own lives. May not just be to you directly, but it creates a ripple effect. So energetically, it's bound to go somewhere. Being of service also allows you to discover more of yourself and how you would respond or react to other people's situations or circumstances that they've had to endure. We can only live this one lifetime in this moment, right? So it's kind of like we have to look for other models, so to speak, other facets of life that we haven't lived through in order for us to appreciate the contrasts of life. The sun illuminating the shadows, but without the shadows being there to begin with, how will we have gratitude? Okay, and this is what we need to let go of. The letting go of. 8 of Earth. Skilled work is rewarded. I can't see that far. Learning all there is to know about a topic and going back to school. So there's something here that maybe feel familiar or has been tapping you on the shoulder or is coming out of left field or out of the blue. And so what I want to say to these things is make sure you're giving them your attention and some focus. It's saying here skilled work is rewarded. when I say skill only comes from the repetition of doing something over and over again, which then turns into mastery. And our souls are here in the reincarnation cycle to do something over and over again so that we can create soul mastery and get through hurdles and obstacles in our lives. So, learning all there is to know about a topic may not seem perceivable or even possible, but immersing yourself, it's kind of like, let's say, if I wanted to learn a new language, what would I do? Same thing with anything you wanted to learn. I would probably listen to topics or people speaking the language. I would get an app and see it on print. I would verbally speak it. I would make sure that I engross myself with it as much as I could until it starts to feel comfortable and I stop feeling like an outsider in this topic or in this skill or in this thing. So this going back to school card, you are learning something new. There is something here being illuminated by the sun that's bringing your attention. And I know for myself, I'm going back to, I'm learning a new skill as well in this current time. So this also resonates with me personally. But just letting yourself recognize that this is a time for expansion and allow the learning to come from nature, from other people, from within yourself, from YouTube. Just be open to the receptivity, to the receiving of information, because you might grow from something you either do or hear or see. Okay, so we have the animal for the week. The animal for the week is raccoon, resourcefulness. You have all the resources that you already need inside of you, which is amazing because we sometimes get so bogged down, like with the freedom card of the sun that states there's something in my mind making me feel limited, something in my mind that's making me feel burdened, or in my spirit or in my body that's making me feel burdened, where I feel imprisoned by or enslaved to, or that it's not allowing me to be the full version of myself. But honestly, to be the full version of yourself, you have everything you already need inside of you. It's just kind of like turning a new page and allowing that to come to the surface, allowing it to come out of the shadows and recognizing it is a strength, even if it's something that doesn't feel like a strength in this now moment. And if you happen to have someone in heaven, this will be a message from heaven, a general message for the collective. And let's see what we have for this one. If you happen to have someone in heaven, this is the message. I had to leave that way. I'm actually going to pull a secondary card because I'm feeling guided to do so. And it says, I was met by so many loving people. And I'm hearing for this, maybe for somebody very specific that has crossed over, is maybe the way I left was sudden. Maybe it was jarring. Maybe you weren't expecting it. Maybe I was healthy and had big dreams. But I had to leave then. And then I was met by so many loving people. So when I left, those people in that moment received me with loving arms, welcoming open arms, and I was embraced. And I am well. And that's what I feel for this. So let's pick the angel blessing card, which is your blessing. And so for the blessing, this is not a tarot card, but it's actually an actual blessing. So make sure you claim it. And this is saying Angel Daniel is blessing the collective with forgiveness, which I love because forgiveness is an aspect of freedom, so that you all know. And and if we didn't hear it the first time, and I haven't said the word freedom enough times, Angel Faith blessing the collective with the blessing of freedom. Let's move this little, here we go. Forgiveness and freedom. I can't even say anything else about that. Let me hit this bell for you there, girl. Erica's claiming that blessing right there. Amazing, amazing. And faith brings freedom. I'm going to say that again. Faith brings freedom. When you surrender what is holding you back, what feels dense to you, and you have faith that something will work out for you, it gives you freedom. It gives you permission. And if you watch my episode last Wednesday, I brought on Tracy, who was diagnosed with breast cancer. When she found her faith in a time when other people may have just been so soured by the experience and only think of death, she surrendered that, and that brought her freedom into her experience, which allowed her to never waver in that experience, knowing that she would be well. Okay, so let's bring Yuri back on. Hey.
Hey.
How are you feeling about this collective message?
I think that when you were describing faith, I think it really resonated with me because I do think, like Kierkegaard, Søren Kierkegaard, the Danish philosopher, 19th century, said, faith begins where reason ends. And I think that we all have faith in the background, whether we like to accept it or not. But I think it helps us live a human life. And I think without faith, we really wouldn't be able to overcome a lot of the boundaries that we surround ourselves with.
Right. And if you're at home and you're struggling with receiving faith or building faith, you can call on this angel Faith to help you build faith. And I heard one time someone say to me that you could ask God for anything, but you can't ask for faith. I don't believe that. I think you can ask God for anything, and you can also ask for faith. Maybe God can't gift you hope, but faith is the prolonged holding within yourself of hope. So you have to be able to hope, which is essentially allowing the door to be unlocked, right? Because sometimes we can't even see the end of the tunnel, and the tunnel might be so long that that light is non-existent. But we have to recognize, at least within, that there is another entrance or another exit to that tunnel. And just within that knowing will create a sense of hope, so that way we can walk. And as we walk and take action, which is inspiration in motion, then we can recognize that faith was there all along. We just had to unlock the door just a little bit, All right. Yuri, is there anything that you want to leave anybody with at home? Maybe if you feel like something that you wish you would have heard in the beginning of your searching, or at a time of your life where something came in and assisted you and shifted you and elevated you. Is there anything that you want to give to the audience at home that just resounds within you?
I guess the only thing I could think of is to not stop searching. I don't think, and know it's a cliche to say this, but I think all cliches have some resonance of truth. That it's not really the goal of enlightenment that's really important. It's the search, and it's the growth that happens through the searching and the ever increasing, expanding one's knowledge and way that they interpret the world. I think that never-ending search is what helps us be better people. And I think that at the end of the day, even if we don't reach, which we won't ever reach because we die, we won't reach the ultimate goal, but it's important nonetheless to grow.
Yeah. And I feel like I've seen people who feel offended if they're asked questions that they don't know the answers to. And I want to say, if you are a person that you think you know everything about something, I will say that does not exist. It does not exist. And the moment you think you know everything about everything, or everything about something, you stop growing.
So that's what I would consider Socratic wisdom. It's the knowledge that I'm the wisest man I know, for I know nothing.
Yes.
All I know is the only thing I know is that I'm not wise. So it's the idea is that once you understand that you can't know everything and that you won't know everything, that's where true knowledge actually begins.
Yes, I agree.
Of yourself.
I absolutely agree with you. We've lost Lori, and this is supposed to be about her in these last 5 minutes. So what I'll do is, on the replay, because she did come, I don't want her to miss this. Lori, if you're watching and getting frustrated, I'm just going to give you a reading, girl. And then you can share with me in the comments later, or if she pops up, then she'll be here. So this is for Lori because she's our winner. And in order for you to be a winner, you just have to share this one time or comment someone's name in the comment section below one time. And I'm always looking for winners. Lori's won twice. So make sure that you're sharing this feed so that way you can also win and share the blessing with everyone else. All right. So for Lori, I lost my second camera, so I'm going to just use this one. For Lori, I have what she needs to know. There's justice card. She has decisions, evidence, thinking, and verdicts. So Lori's in a space right now where she's going to have to be weighing some options. And I feel like making a choice specifically for Lori here. And make sure that you're fair when you say this. And also fair to yourself. Not selfish, but fair to yourself. And this could be so many things. This could be legal or just creating harmony back inside your home space. this has been ongoing because this card here, although you can't really see it, it says patience is a virtue. So this has been ongoing. This may be slow moving, but recognize that momentum is momentum. And sometimes when the movement forward is slow because we need that extra traction because we're building something even bigger than we thought it was, we have to respect the process. And for letting go for Lori, a desire to move on, the search for something more meaningful, spiritual, and emotional growth. So you may just come to the conclusion that you've learned or gained all that you've needed to gain from this situation. I feel like a new direction or a new path is opening, like a detour, but a good one, because your soul has already been filled or fulfilled by this energy. So I feel like there's a time to recognize there's more to life. We have here for your animal, Lori, passion. Follow your passion, Black Panther. Exactly what I said. There is more to life. So this ending that's coming is because something even better, even greater is fulfilling it. And what can be better than passion? And we have your message from heaven, Lori, in case you have someone in heaven. It says, I have no pain. So when we cross over, regardless of how we leave the physical plane, once we leave the corporeal state, that's it. The pain is gone. So they just want you to know they are no longer in pain. And you are being blessed with love from Angel Caziel. So I hope that serves you, Lori. I love this for you. Seems very uplifting. Seems transitional. You might be feeling you're on a wobble, but I feel like stability will be here shortly enough. And thank you all at home for tuning in. I'm live streaming every Sunday and Wednesday night. So making sure that you are following, liking, subscribing, and sharing so that a girl could continue to do this. Because, I love being here with you all. Thank you for being here. Just because when you're here, it allows you to open your eyes, see someone else's experience, and expand your own to find support within this. So I hope that you all go forward knowing today that you are the authors of your own life and only you can create divine experience by just allowing. And that is all. All the resources are already within you that you need. Thank you again, Yuri, for being here.
Thank you for inviting me. It's a really amazing experience. So very interesting. Definitely something to check off the bucket list.
Bucket list checked off. And may you all go in love, light, and wisdom to know thyself. Love thyself. And remember, the divine always has your back. Ciao.
Divine.